Hey everybody, it's Evan Vanderbilt with another episode of Once Around the Block. I'm here with the one, the only.
Diego downtown. Diego, how are you?
How you doing, Diego?
I'm good, how are you?
Do you think of yourself as Diego downtown? Do you have a last name still?
I love to obviously want to keep my last name. Don't want to lose it. I think my parents would be pretty upset if I lost
Sure.
it. But yeah, it's just funny because I think my Diego downtown personality has really kind of grown
Sure.
over the past couple of years, and it's so funny when people kind of recognize me and say, Diego downtown, I know you.
Well,
so
that's exactly what happened to me because I saw you on Instagram through the various feeds. And I'm like the first time I was like, oh, you're Diego downtown.
yeah.
So, what is Diego downtown?
So Diego Downtown is a men's fashion and lifestyle blog that I launched a little over 3 years ago now. Really just started from posting kind of some of my favorite outfits on my Instagram account.
Yeah.
Picked up some speed. I started to kind of see that I was gaining a following.
Yeah.
And then kind of connected with somebody that makes websites, and she helped me create my website from what it is today, and kind of just took off. It was kind of just me documenting my adventures around the city, and just kind of letting people know what I was up to and who I was meeting and what I was doing, and it kind of, I guess, turned into a personality. So
Sure.
Yeah, that's kind of how it became.
So did you kind of have that desire or intention in the beginning, or was it?
I think, again, I really, at the time, Instagram was so new,
Yeah,
and I launched it kind of just thinking, this is a fun way to
Right.
document my life
Right.
in photography and photos. So, I think from there, I started to get a lot of feedback from my friends
Sure.
and a lot of support from them and my parents, and them saying, you do have a great sense of style,
Right.
you seem to always kind of be up and knowing, what are the trends, what's going on.
Yeah.
And
So you knew you were going to do fashion. You knew something along those lines.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe winning Best Dressed in High School was a hint, maybe an illusion as to what was going to happen later, but yeah, that's kind of how it all came about.
Speaking of high school, where was that? Where was high
I
school?
went to high school in a little small beach town south of Tampa called Sarasota, Florida.
Okay.
We have the #1 beach in America, and proud of it.
Yeah.
And I went to a small magnet school graduated with about 100 people in my class.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so young man, best dressed, out of high school, and he says to himself, "I'm going to move to DC and be a fashion guy in DC."
That's kind of how it happened. I actually moved up here working for a retailer.
Okay.
I worked in retail for about 7 years, right out of college. I worked for Abercrombie, and then jumped from a couple of other brands, J. Crew, and then kind of helped J. Crew kind of expand its newest brand, which it introduced in the DC area called
Yeah.
Madewell. They
Okay.
actually have one right here on 14th Street that they recently opened.
Yeah.
And then from there, I actually jumped over into mall marketing. So I worked for Westfield,
Okay.
and they're a big shopping mall developer in the
Yeah,
U.S.
they used
and,
to be called Montgomery Mall out there in.
Yep. So they own the 3 properties in Maryland,
Yeah.
Annapolis, Bethesda, and Wheaton.
Okay.
And yeah, so I kind of changed roles. I actually went from being a retailer to a marketer,
Right.
and really kind of understanding how retailers work and what's the internal structure of how their marketing budgets work, and what they do in terms of marketing the brands and working
Sure.
with shopping mall developers. So
Yeah.
I think it was really great because it gave me a really great sense of each side, from a retailer's perspective and from a mall developer's perspective, how retail and brands interact.
Right.
So that was really helpful. And again, I think that kind of pushed me and launched me into
Totally, it gave you all
having
the
this-
skills you need to
having
do
this
your own
passion.
thing.
Right.
They made you into a pro, so you could go do, or you made yourself into a pro.
So to speak.
So
Yeah,
to speak.
I was taught, and again, I met a lot of great, interesting people along the way,
Yeah.
from the corporate offices to the people that nurture these relationships and actually sign the leases for these brands and
Yeah,
these
yeah.
locations. So there's a lot behind the scenes, a lot behind the curtain that happens, and it was interesting to work alongside those people.
Yeah. So you're essentially what we call an influencer now. Is that accurate?
Essentially. Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
And I was trying to explain to my mom what an influencer is and does. Is there? Can you shed some light on? It's kind of a new role. No, it's like a new job. It's a new lifestyle.
Yeah, I think what an influencer is nowadays is it's really somebody that has kind of this passion for a certain area, something that they're whether it's beauty or food or fitness or fashion, and I think that there's something that it's something that they constantly are looking into, trying and experiencing themselves, and so I think how influencers have grown is that they have kind of almost been kind of like a connoisseur of their area of
You're right,
expertise.
their niche,
And
yeah.
so I think that people, live their daily lives and don't have time to maybe be as exposed or be as passionate as other influencers are about what
Right.
they're doing. So I think they use influencers as a resource, as a tool, and as a way to actually kind of just establish a common connection with an influencer, because influencers they're at the end of the day, they are everyday people.
Right.
They are people that live their lives, and so
But they get really good at it, no?
they do. They
so
do.
that they live their lives so that it brings value to other people.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I think it's a lifestyle. It's something that even myself. DC is a very events-driven city, so I think that it's something that constantly going to events, constantly seeing people, being around, being invited to fashion events, retail openings. Again, it gives me a lot of exposure to
Sure,
those people, and so I think in turn, for some people it's an outlet. For some people that might be not able to attend some of those events,
Right.
or be able to be there for that store opening or fashion show. I think that I give them that front row seat.
And you give that through social media, through your web content, that
Yep.
sort of thing, right?
Yeah, primarily right now it's through social media and really through my Instagram. Really I want to keep it organic.
Yeah.
I think, people ask me, why isn't your grid so like super color coded and, kind of organized? And again, I want to keep it organic, but I also want to make it real and also have it be relatable with people.
Yeah.
So that they can kind of see that I'm still kind of living my life in the city.
Yeah.
But I also still love to dress up. So
Yeah.
I think that kind of shows through my Instagram.
A quick question: is being an influencer easy?
It is not.
Exactly.
It is a full-time job.
Right.
I think it's something that I kind of went into it not really knowing what it was going to take and what was really going to go into it. And I think it's something that you are the representative of what you care for and what you're representing. So I think that you can never lose that, and I think that you always have to kind of remind yourself, and I remind myself every morning when I get up, what am I wearing today? What am I going to wear when I step out the door? Because people are going to be looking to me, whether it is somebody that stops me on the metro and says, hey, you're Diego downtown, or somebody that stops me in the grocery store and says, hey, I follow you and I
Right.
love your sense of style. You never leave your apartment looking, with a hoodie and
Right.
sweatpants, you know what I mean? So I think that that's something that kind of a lot of people take for granted, because you still have to understand that you are representing your brand.
Right.
You're representing who you are and who you've created.
Yeah.
So I think that's important, and I think that comes along with being an influencer. You have to
Yeah, you have to. You're 24/7.
be an expert in what you're passionate about.
Sounds good. Talk to me a little bit about DC. Are you excited about DC?
I am, yeah. It's crazy to see how much DC has grown over the past 7 years since
Right.
I first moved to DC. I actually didn't live in the district right when I first moved in. I lived right outside the city, and then I moved into DC about 4 years ago. And I mean, man, it's been just crazy seeing all the neighborhoods just kind of like grow and flourish, and just seeing all these new restaurants. Kind of DC's undergoing a huge food revolution
Totally,
right now.
yeah.
So it's great to see, these chefs that are winning, James Beard Awards and Michelin stars, and I think it's really kind of giving DC a larger name out there. I think
Totally.
that's the great thing that I love now is my friends don't message me or say, hey, we want to come visit because we want to come see the monuments. They're like, hey, we want to come visit because
It's a great city,
we've heard
yeah.
amazing things
Yeah.
about your city. We've heard amazing things about the food and the people and the culture, and we want to be there.
So does that mean when you blow up, you're not gonna move to another city and start all over? Or who knows?
I'm not. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, I am an open book. I love to move to new cities and experience new things constantly. I love
Yeah.
to travel. So for me, it's who knows what's going to be coming down the next couple of months. So
Awesome.
we'll see where the wind blows me.
We've reached the once around the block, so now it's the wow moment. It's the words of wisdom. If you have any last thoughts, you might want to shout out.
Words of wisdom. I would just say, speaking on behalf of kind of a creative in DC, I know a lot of creatives watch these, and again, I thank Edmund for doing them. I think they're fantastic. But I think that we need to keep our voices going as creatives, whether it is something that you're blogging about or writing about or singing or writing or doing in general. So I think that we as a creative community just need to kind of keep the culture going and support one another and lift each other up. So that's all I've got.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, man.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks for watching, everybody. See you next time.